What's going on, everybody? It's Daniel with Troutman Photography and thesmashcake.com, and today I want to save you from a little something that happened to me, and it's eventually, hopefully, going to happen to you. You are going to struggle to build your business, and then eventually it's going to take hold, and you're going to start getting a ton of clients, and it's going to start raining money. Now, this is something that happens to a lot of photographers who just keep pushing and just keep learning. Eventually, you start making a ton of money, but when the money just shows up, you oftentimes don't know what to do with it, right? You become like a lottery winner and you start blowing your cash on stupid crap, and then eventually, well, you're broke again, right? So to save you from that fate, I've gone ahead and listed a couple of the worst purchasing mistakes I ever made with that cash that just showed up out of nowhere, hopefully with the intention of keeping you guys from making the same mistakes. So go ahead and watch the video all the way through and learn all of the things I did wrong, so of course you can do them right and avoid making the mistakes. Now, if there's anybody out there that has made a huge purchasing mistake and it wasn't on today's list, definitely play along at home. I want to hear about it in the comments section because, let's face it, it's fun to talk about bonehead moves that we've made, and it's going to help other people potentially not make the same mistakes. So let's go ahead and have some fun with it, but of course, let's just be constructive and nice and not be all trolly, right? So let's just go ahead and get right into it with the first and worst. I don't know if it's the worst, but it's pretty bad. One of the worst purchasing mistakes I've ever made, and that has got to be my drone. Right? Now, I went ahead and bought a drone back in 2020 because I had a dream of buying this drone so that I could capture behind the scenes footage of me doing my job and then help maybe market my business on Instagram and social media. And I thought it was going to be epic. I'll go ahead and get myself a DJI drone. I'll put it on an automatic mode. It'll hover automatically around me and I'll create all this wonderful footage and it will bring in a flood of customers. That was the logic. But what I didn't understand about drones is that when you throw a drone up into the sky, it brings out all of the wackos, right? All of the people that have barely two brain cells to rub together. They want to come out and they want to tell you all about privacy laws, why you're not allowed to do what you're doing. And they'll poke you in the chest and they will just completely scream at you and get their cigarette breath in your face. It's awful, all right? You want to see some wackos? Throw up a drone. That is the number one thing I can't stand about my drone. Number two, you can't fly the damn things anywhere. What I didn't understand was that you can't fly within a couple of miles of any airport or military installation. And just about everywhere you go, there's an airport, there's a military installation, there's geofencing around sports centers and sports arenas. You literally can't fly these things anywhere. Now, I live in the Northwest and we have bird sanctuaries everywhere, and it is illegal to fly your drone in state-run and national-run parks, including bird sanctuaries. So all of the places that I was photographing, I just simply couldn't launch my drone. So what happened? The damn thing sat in a bag and is currently sitting on my shelf and hasn't been in the air for well over a year. So if you're one of those people that are thinking about getting a drone to help promote your photography business, just understand that you're not going to be able to fly it anywhere. And when you do get it in the air, well, you're going to hear about it from the general public. So, food for thought, guys. Okay, everybody, what you're looking at is a Loupedeck Plus, and this is number 2 on my list of stupid things that I bought that really weren't worth the money. Now, in theory, the Loupedeck, it has all those knobs and dials on there, and you can control your exposure, your contrast, your shadows, and all of your coloring and all that just at the twist of a knob. And it seems like such a great idea, right? You can even crop the photo and program in specific Lightroom presets to different buttons at the top of the Loupedeck, and at the push of a button, apply the preset, control the exposure, all of these things from, by twisting little knobs and dials. Seems like a great idea, but at the end, it really didn't add up to a whole lot of time savings. It was supposed to save time, but it really didn't. Even after you learned intuitively where all the controls are, there just wasn't enough time savings to justify having this giant bulky thing sit on your desk and take up space. Plus, just doesn't work. You have to actually unplug it, plug it back in, load up the Loupedeck software, convince it that it actually wants to do the job, and then of course it will do the job for you, but again, time savings just not there. So anybody contemplating the Loupedeck Plus, My thought is, don't waste your time. Instead, buy yourself a good keyboard with a couple of programmable buttons on there and program your presets into that, and that'll save you about the same amount of time, but it won't come in at a $250 price tag. Next up on the list of things I probably shouldn't have wasted my money on is the Eyelighter. Now, for those of you that do not know what an eyelighter is, it is basically a curved reflector that lives under your subject so that it can bounce light under their chin and into their eyes. It's basically a 5-in-1 reflector on steroids. What I didn't understand about the eyelighter was it was going to be huge. And unlike a 5-in-1 reflector, it's really hard to not get the damn thing in the frame when you're doing headshots or any sort of shots, really. It curves up around the edges, and right here at the top of the curve, you have a hard time not getting that little bar in the actual photo. It's a pain in the butt to shoot around. Now, it's also a pain in the butt to assemble and disassemble. It doesn't travel near as well as a 5-in-1 reflector, because a 5-in-1, you just throw that darn thing in a backpack, and then when you get to a location, with a flip of a wrist, you've got a reflector. It pops right out. Whereas the Eyelighter, it takes 15-20 minutes to disassemble, 15-20 minutes to rebuild it, and it's an absolute bugger to take anywhere. So it pretty much just lives in the corner of my studio. It gathers dust, and I have replaced the Eyelighter with the original reflector that I was using that cost me under 20 bucks on Amazon. So if you want to save some money, go ahead and avoid the Eyelighter and just get yourself a 5-in-1 on Amazon for $15 to $20. This next one is going to make some people mad, and I completely apologize in advance, but I wasted so much money on Lightroom presets. Now, if you ask me, the industry of Lightroom presets is full of people who don't know what they're doing and snake oil salesmen, right? They all promise that they're gonna take your crappy, horribly exposed image and turn it into magic at the push of one single button. That's the promise. But honestly, there's no way that a Lightroom preset can deliver that for everybody's images. It just doesn't work like that. Instead, you'd be much better off getting on YouTube, learning how to edit in a particular style, and then saving your own presets. It's not only going to save you money, but at the end of the day, you're going to have a much better grasp on editing. So it's kind of a win-win. You know, you save money, you learn how to edit, and you don't support an industry that I think is just an industry full of people who are simply trying to get rich quick, and they're using your money to do it. Moving right along to the next item on the list, the Spider camera holster. This was the thing that I really wanted. I was done with camera straps. They always hurt my neck. I didn't like them, and I thought the Spider camera holster, that thing was a great solution. But what I didn't realize is that there were a couple of drawbacks. Number one, it's not really designed for anybody who shoots with a 70 to 200 millimeter lens. That's a lot of weight, and that is a long lens, and it's not really designed for that. And since that was my go-to lens, it was a bit of a letdown. The other thing I didn't realize was going to be a thing until I used the Spider holster and it became a thing, was it pulls your pants down. Now guys, we don't have hips, right? We aren't designed with hips, so we struggle with keeping our pants up anyway. And we all know that as photographers, we are bending over to, get on the right level with our clients, and we're bending over all day. So guys, myself included, we don't need extra help not keeping our pants up, right? And the Spider holster really was a problem. You put extra weight around your waist and you bend over, and all of a sudden, you look like a plumber. Let's just be real. You got a big old case of plumber's butt thanks to the Spider holster. Now, if saying no to crack is not a big enough reason for you to not use the Spider holster, here's another one. When you use the Spider holster, it takes your camera, puts it on your hip, and it sticks it about 6 or 8 inches off your body, right? And you are not accustomed to that. Let me tell you, I was not accustomed to that. So every time I walked through a doorway, I was smashing my camera and my lens on the door jamb. That, in addition to the plumber's butt, was enough of a reason for me to just say no to the Spider holster and put it on a shelf where it still lives to this very day. And with that final tip, I want to remind everybody that the comment section is open. I want to hear about your worst photography gear purchase. I know it's going to be good. It's going to get juicy down there. So go ahead and hit me up with those comments, and maybe we could save other photographers from making the same mistakes that you and I made. And with that, we've hit the end of the video. Thank you guys so very much for watching these. And if you want to watch more, well, of course, you know where the videos are going to pop up. There will be more for you. And I can't wait to see you guys in next week's video. So have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.